greater purpose that you can align yourself with. There is no greater meaning to this thing called life that you can put above yourself to achieve happiness. Being happy as a human is simply just aligning yourself with what nature allows you to be happy. Being happy is simply a neurochemical in your brain that gets constantly produced on a long enough time frame. That's the so-called happiness. If you did something that gave you instant gratification, we call that dopamine, right? Or they call it dopamine. I don't even believe in that shit, to be honest. Because what it is that you feel really good for a little bit and then you feel like shit after. Versus if you feel good on a very small increments on a long enough time frame. Now, people like to believe this is called serotonin or there's like being content, being happy. But these are all just made up concepts. You see, these are just things people made up to tell you what you should feel and what is the right way to feel things and what allows you to be happy. This is simply dumb guessing. You see, scientists don't know shit. Scientists just hypothesize and then they do experiments and they try to prove that their hypothesis was correct. They don't know anything. Just like how when you were born into this world, you didn't know anything. Everything you did know was simply through observations with your senses, like your eyes, your nose, your ears, and other people telling you what they have observed before you. There is no way to prove anything. Now, if you observe an animal in nature, how does an animal feel happy? An animal cannot be happy if you lock it up in a cage inside of a zoo, giving it food fed to it every single day. It can't be happy if it's in a farm. It can't even be happy necessarily if they are your pets. I don't actually think your dogs and your cats are happy, even if they seem like they're happy. A lot of people seem happy, but they're not happy. They have this discontent on the inside that they feel like something is wrong. You know, when we get pets, we neuter them, right? You neuter your dog, you treat them like pets. It's not something they would want. They would want to be in nature. We inbred the dogs to force them to go from wolves to dogs, which is unnatural. And we basically abuse them, but that's what humans do. This is how animals do it, right? Like a lion would hunt down an animal. What animal does lions eat? Not deers, I don't know. Antelopes, whatever. And it would just eat it, right? I mean, humans largely do the same thing, but we do it on a mass scale. Now, this is not a video about animals, it's a video about, how to achieve happiness. Well, let's think back, right? When you were a kid, like, they say happiness is bliss, but I don't necessarily think being blissful is happy. I know a lot of people who are very blissful, they're very stupid, they don't know anything. They're not happy at all. When you were a kid, most likely you were outside a lot. Now, if you were born once the iPads and the phones, all this shit came out, I genuinely feel bad for you to a certain degree. But when I was a kid, you know, the happiest time was when I was in nature connecting with humans. We didn't even do anything. There was no money involved. All we simply did was run around in the sun digging holes with dirt, burning things, climbing things, and just running around. That's it. I also fed animals. I collected eggs. We actually had a farm with goats on it. A lot of these problems stems from eating unhealthy food. It is actually impossible to be happy if you are biochemically not healthy. If you're biochemically eating food that was not made for humans, which is anything that is unnatural, by the way, none of these vitamins or definitely not cereal or cookies, okay, chips, or these deep fried food, the more they cook it, the more terrible it will be for you. The more natural you can find it by picking it off a tree, which is almost virtually impossible now because every animal is raised in a way where they're fed food that is not healthy for them. So when you eat the meat, they have these stress hormones that's built up, especially if they're injecting the animals with things that are making them grow faster or whatever. And the animals are sad, so you get some of that in you. And the fruits, the seeds are also completely, their DNA is completely changed from the seeds. They're biochemically engineered. Now, at least that's the best you can do. You can, imagine if you were a primal human, you would simply pick fruits off the trees or the bushes, gather berries and eat them. They were a little bit sour. Sweetness was very hard to find, right? Honey was hard to acquire because there was bees protecting it. And the berries have very little amounts of sugar in them. You also wanted meat because it was very nutrients dense, right? You get protein, you can hunt, right? These animals, they run in the wild, they have a lot of muscle in them because they're constantly moving. Unlike the cows and definitely not the chickens today. That's not healthy at all. But it's still better than eating a bunch of nothing, right? Which is food that is just simply not for human consumption, like drinking any energy drinks, or definitely not like, sodas or anything like that. A lot of these problems stem from, unfortunately, your parents being severely brainwashed. And it's hard to blame them because they genuinely didn't know anything better. They would go to work and then they will force you to do things that they hated. They would hate to do as a kid, and they said this is so-called good for you. While they give you an iPad and make you watch TV because they're too lazy to have fun with you because they have to work, they have stress, they want to hang out by themselves. They think that is happiness, which is not. The happiest times you can be is spending time with your wife and your kids. That is genuinely the happiest you will ever be. The memories you make when everybody is having fun in nature and enjoying food together, doing an activity, is the best that life has to offer. There is simply nothing greater than that in this life. There is nothing you can do that will make you happier than exactly that. It's very unfortunate because a lot of, kids growing up these days, they were fed into, brainwashed by a lot of media. Yeah, ads, any kind of TV you watch, even cartoons, is brainwashed. And unfortunately, any kind of things they make you do, even sports and going to school, is definitely something that will just brainwash you. They just teach you how to be a good, obedient person. There's nothing there to learn. If there was 10,000 things, actually there's millions and millions of things to learn in this world, but they will only teach you category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and nothing else, because anything else will make you too powerful. They simply want to teach you what they deem is necessary for you to do a good job at something that you can do, so you're not completely useless, you're useful. Simply put, if you were not someone who can fit into society and do the job that they want you to do and be a really good, obedient person, and exactly spend the money, make money, eat the food they want you to eat, do the things they want you to do, follow the laws they make, do everything in order from start to finish, you are seen as useless. Because this is how society works. And then you wonder why you're not happy, and then you wonder why you're fucking depressed. I'm gonna make a longer video on this, but the timer only gives me 10 minutes, but this will be a part 1. I'm probably gonna upload more videos on my YouTube talking more in depth about these topics, but I hope you guys enjoyed.